The reason why I try to be choosy, or to answer your opening question, I'm not chasing perfection, but I'm chasing the absolute limit of my potential at that moment.
ఆ వైట్ హౌస్ ఇంకా వైట్ గానే ఉందారా?
బ్లాక్ అయింది.
Even with Miss Shetty, that happened where we actually released with Jawan. It was trade-wise, a lot of people were like, "This is such a bad date," and even I was very, very scared because it was such a monstrous film. Thankfully, with Miss Shetty, even though the opening was slow, like I said, once the audience buys that first ticket and they see the film, after that they carry the film. Once it's fully done, once my responsibilities as an actor, writer, creator are fully done, I like to completely disengage from that. When they take a screenshot of a movie of mine from any scene, the audience should be able to tell which character that is.
నైస్.
That's my goal. So while the screening was going on, I don't even look at the screen. I just look at people's faces. I'm like, where are they? How are they? Is this moving them? Is this scene? What's happening here? And when I saw that constant smile plastered on their face, that's when I was like, okay, I think we have something. From within the industry, when you have constant hits, there's constantly people saying, hey, why aren't you coming to set yet? So it's that constant pressure of getting back to set. It's not black money that they spend. It's hard-earned money.
Yeah.
So when they spend that money on my films, I feel a sense of responsibility. Yeah, so but let's do a virtual hug.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Are we singing a song? You should sing a song.
Bhimavaram balama, badi toti podama.
டார்லிங் சோலார் 20,500 முன்பணத்தில் இப்பொழுது சோலார் மூலம் இலவச மின்சாரம்.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Chennai Silks. Let the celebrations begin.
This festive season, travel the world with Grand Royal Tours.
Hello, Mr. Naveen Polishetty.
Hi, buddy.
How are you?
I'm great.
So, thank you for convincing me that I have attained puberty. This is a conversation that we had before.
I'm happy to share that moment with you. It's a special moment in anyone's life.
It's a special moment, and I feel like I owe you something. I don't know what, but yeah.
Well, we'll remember this.
We'll remember this moment forever. It
Yes.
bonds us in some way.
I can see something sprouting on me too.
Oh my God!
I think we both hit it at the same time.
Yeah, we hit it at the same time.
It's our moment.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you something that you may not like, but there is this perception of you and a few people of your generation being this perfectionist generation that wants everything a certain way, the way you want it. And from what I can see, it's probably not sitting very well with certain other people. Have you seen this? Like, have you sensed this?
Not really. I mean, in fact, the opposite has happened. The reactions that I have seen is, first of all, I don't think there is anything such as perfection.
Right.
Because in art is abstract. Art is not absolute. Like, you're an engineer, right? So if I give you a formula, you didn't get your degree?
I got.
So yeah, so I'm saying in engineering or in maths, if we get a problem, we have a definite answer. And if I give the same problem to another person, he will arrive at the same answer. But if I give you a song to write, you will write it differently, he will write it differently, I will write it differently. And if I play the song to another person, he will say it's great, that person will say it sucks. So everything in art is very, very, it's constantly dynamic, it's constantly changing. So to perfect something, if you have a definitive thing, then you can achieve that. But in art, what is perfection? Like, where is that definitive ending?
Yeah.
Like, you can walk out of a movie scene and say, oh, I gave the best ever perfect take, and a director from some part of the world might look at it and say, that was such a bad take. So from his point of view, it's a bad take. What you thought was perfect is absolutely imperfect from him. Sorry, that was the perfect timing. So that's perfection.
That's perfection.
That timing is perfection.
Yeah. So
that's a double perfect. That's double perfection. Only Baddy can do it.
oh wow.
So
Yeah. Don't wish it for me again.
third time's a charm. Go for it.
Yeah. No, but
So
this also tells me that you are super involved with all your films. That's what I'm taking away. Correct.
I'm involved with anything that I do in life. It's not just films. Like anything that I start my day with, I'm 500% in that moment.
When you're sipping a cup of coffee,
I'm there.
you're 500% sipping your
I
coffee.
mean, these days, with the sometimes what happens is when you're shooting a film, it's a highly stressful environment. Like there's so much going on, so it's hard to be kind of what they say, smell the roses, enjoy the little moments. It's hard to really implement that, but I try to. That in fact, that's been one of my New Year resolutions. Is to I've always been a person like that. I've never been a multitasker. My dad and anyone in my life that really had an impact on me, they always taught me just pick up one thing and do it to the best of your ability. They never said do it perfectly. Like I said, there's no. So I try to. The reason why I try to be choosy, or to answer your opening question, I'm not chasing perfection, but I'm chasing the absolute limit of my potential at that moment, which could keep getting better every year. So for example, if I look at my work in Agent Sai, today if Agent Sai came to me, I would play it very, very differently, because I've learned so many more new things as an actor.
What would you play differently?
I would I would go I don't know. I mean, I would definitely have a different take on it. Like at that time, I had a skill set which, with that skill set, I did that. But right now, when I look at it, for example, there is an emotional scene in the film where the character's mother dies. And he finds out later that her body got dumped with other bodies. It's a very important arc in the film. I would definitely do that scene very, very differently today as an actor. Because at that time, uh, when you're kind of a little new to the industry, you try to overplay the emotion, or you sometimes as a young actor you try to make a mistake of feeling it more and then trying to make the audience feel that. Today, if I played it, I would not try to feel that emotion. I would just go to that space of the character finding out that news, and then just let my reactions, let my stimulus take over and see what comes out.
Okay.
Today I have the confidence to do that. When you're a young actor, you want to kind of give your best take.
You want to impress everybody.
You want to impress because it's your first film, right? You're coming from nowhere. Some producer somewhere trusted you after years of auditioning and stuff. Somebody trusted you and said, okay, I'm going to bet on this guy. So now you're like, this is it. I either deliver as Agent Sai, or I just go back to my engineering degree and my job. So it's a make or break moment. Now I feel less of that pressure. Now I feel like I can enjoy my craft more. Now I feel like I can kind of work on my characters more, enjoy the process of filmmaking more. So that's the difference. And to answer your question about perfection, I think this is the longest first answer I've given in.
Yeah, you keep going back to that first
because of
question.
your sneezes, Barry.
Yeah.
So to answer, so I'm not chasing that, and whatever experiences I've had in the film industry, people are very, very today. The audience expects excellent quality. So I think chasing perfection or trying to perfect something or trying to give the highest quality possible is the best attribute all of us as filmmakers or as creators can have in today's generation, because that's the only thing that's going to make an audience member buy a ticket.
Right.
Not your popcorn prizes, not your 1+1 tickets, not your I mean, songs definitely help to an extent, but at the end of the day, it is the quality of your storytelling that is really going to make an audience member think, oh, that's a very good trailer. Hey, I like the premise of this film. I'm going to buy a ticket and watch it in theaters. So all of this journey of trying to achieve high quality is to impress that ticket goer, is to kind of give him something where he feels this is worth my 2.5 hours of time. I will buy a ticket for this.
Why restrict it to this is worth my time? Why not try to build a brand where they say that anything that Naveen does is going to be something I'm interested in?
I hope that it's already like that, and that's always been my endeavor, which is I think somebody from the trade was telling me yesterday that there is huge buzz around Anaganaga Oka Raju. And my film's coming out after 2 years now. So I think the audience trusts me that whether it was with Agent Sai or even with Jati Ratnalu, Jati Ratnalu actually was supposed to release in the pandemic, and then it was just sitting on the edit table for 1 year. But when the pandemic opened up and theaters opened up, they just came in big numbers. It's because of the trust, that they trust that, hey, if Naveen's doing something, he's not going to shortchange me. He's not going to give me something that he signed for money. He's not going to do something where he wanted a vacation somewhere, So he's definitely going to bring me something interesting, and that's something I work towards every day of my life, and that's why I take time in picking my next story, because I ask myself, would this be worth their time? Would this be something that they would be interested to watch? And even with Miss Shetty, that happened, where we actually released with Jawan. It was trade-wise, a lot of people were like, "This is such a bad date," and even I was very, very scared because it was such a monstrous film, and the film still did very well. So that tells me that, hey, the audience somewhere trusts me, that, hey, I'm not going to give them a bad time at the movies, and I try to put extra pressure on myself to live up to that trust.
When do you take vacations?
Never. Oh man, if I told you the non-filmmaking part of my life, you'd stop this interview right now.
Okay, tell me.
You'd be like, I don't take vacations. I mean, all my vacations are all about kind of getting out of the previous film, and kind of because my films, when my film releases, that's the only time I kind of step out in the public and do promotions, and I believe in doing in kind of I believe in a lot of on-ground promotions.
So I'll backtrack a bit.
Yeah,
So the story that I heard
yeah,
was that because of Jawan, whatever the reason, Miss Shetty kind of had a soft opening.
yeah.
And then
Yes.
you hit the ground
Yeah.
and you promoted the hell out of it. And those translated into people slowly coming and realizing, because first, in order to make them realize that such a thing exists and it's actually there, you got to bring the first batch of people inside.
Right.
So I heard that you had a huge part to play in the PR of that film.
I mean, it's always been my style. It's not just with Miss Shetty. With every film of mine, whenever we end up finishing the film, after that I take inviting the audience to the theaters very seriously. That's something that, because I try to leave no stone unturned in making sure that everybody knows that the film is coming, and everybody knows what the film is about, and everybody knows the reviews of the film. This is something that started with Agent, actually, because during Agent we didn't have a marketing budget. Like I said, the entire film was shot on a budget where it would not even be someone's song cost, So necessity is the mother of inventions, like they say. So we had to think innovatively on how do we impress the audience? How do we make sure we're heard in this entire noise? Because every Friday there's at least 3-4 films releasing. So how will people know that your film is coming out? So we had to think innovatively. I started this thing of doing sketches to promote films, and that really caught on. So with Miss Shetty also, it was not something that I wanted to do only for Miss Shetty. It was just a part of how I market films. And thankfully, with Miss Shetty, even though the opening was slow, like I said, once the audience buys that first ticket and they see the film, after that they carry the film.
So the reason I ask you the vacation question is because you're not just an actor. You write, you sing, you dance.
Bhimavaram Balama, plug in for the song.
Yeah. So you do all these things. Like, you're not just like sitting there in your caravan waiting for...
I've never been to my caravan.
Yeah. So, like, with all this going on, so this gets over, and Anaganaga Oka Raju gets over, and then you're going to maybe have a brief break, and then you're going to get into writing the next thing, and like that's going to take maybe a couple of years or whatever it is.
Right.
So that's why I was asking, what do you do in that break? Like, what do you like?
There is a way I can take a vacation if all of India's writers are watching. As soon as Raju is over, if you guys watch Anaganaga Oka Raju and you like it, then please come to me with a finished script so that I don't have to put on the writer's hat and I can just go on a nice vacation, come back. Because somebody asked me, what's your dream project? My dream project is a project where I read a bound script and I'm like, this is it. I can just go to set as an actor, perform my character, and go away.
Okay.
You know, that's my dream project. Because honestly speaking, finding a very good story, a very well written script, is easier said than done. And we have phenomenal talent in India. But if you see every year in every industry, there are 2-3 films that come out which are which kind of really make an impact. Or
If that. Yeah.
Sorry?
If that.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
So my hunt is always for those 2-3 scripts of that year. You know, I'm trying to find that, and there's so many heroes. There are so many actors, right? Like there are so many actors. So the right script coming to you has factors beyond your control. Like imagine if a script goes to a producer, he might have dates of another actor, right? So he will probably take that script to that actor. Then there are agencies. So let's say an agency gets a script, whoever is on their roster, they will attach that script to that person, right? So you might not be on their roster. So there are so many factors that decide whether a script comes to you. So I decided very early on in my life, after my YouTube days, that I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait for that phone to ring. I'm not going to wait for a director to call and say, hey, this is the script that, because that waiting really frustrates you. You know, you want to do something with your time, and you want your audience to see your skills as quickly as possible. So that's when I decided that I'm also going to be a part of the writing process, so that I can kind of bring stories that I'm excited about, while also keeping an eye on other exciting filmmakers and stories. So whenever I get that, I'm open to take a vacation. But when I'm generally my process with vacations is, once the film is done and it's served its purpose and people have enjoyed it, I completely delete it from my mind. It's back to zero. Like everything is, it's like a format,
Like a
or
reset button.
It's a factory reset.
Yeah.
It's done. After a film is done, I'm back to the same guy auditioning in Bombay. I'm back to the same guy that was looking for the big break in movies. I'm back to that guy. I'm that guy. And now I'm like looking for, what is my next story? What script should I do next? And then I travel. I meet a lot of people. Traveling is something that I love. It really helps me.
Do you travel alone?
I like traveling alone. I love traveling alone. In fact, I'm not your top 10 places to visit in Paris kind of guy. When I travel, I just like to go to a place and stay there for a month with the locals. Most of the time, I don't even stay in hotels.
What is the last place you went?
I was in UP. I was recently in Mathura. I was in that entire belt of Mathura, Vrindavan. Beautiful, beautiful place. So I discovered so many things about Uttar Pradesh, and it was one of the most exciting trips for me. And then so yeah, I stayed with the locals there, and I like to observe how they talk, what food they eat, what is their humor like, what troubles them. If you go to Loy Bazaar in Vrindavan, you will see their life. It's mostly like it's a market full of shops, and everybody greets each other. Hey, Radhe Radhe. Nobody says
Yeah.
So this is culture. Like this is what makes India unique. Like I don't think any country in the world can offer that, where you travel 150 kilometers and suddenly, like a video game, you have a new level, you have a new game. Suddenly everything's changed. That's the greatest thing I find about our country, and that's why I love traveling across India a lot.
You know, Naveen, I have to tell you this. When I came to this interview, the last thing I expected to hear was the statement, I discovered a lot of things about Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah,
Was so not on the menu.
really?
Yeah, that was like,
Oh man, I love going to all the states in India.
Yeah?
It's one of my favorite pastimes.
yeah, no, nothing wrong with Uttar Pradesh. I'm just,
yeah,
like it's not something that I expected in this
No,
conversation.
no, you should go. You should go
Yeah.
to all these places. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Uttarakhand, again, beautiful place. So I like to visit.
So you visit like to kind of get away from this environment,
I mean,
the film environment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely that's one of the reasons. Not get away, but I would say I like to explore the part of my life outside of filmmaking, because my filmmaking process when I'm shooting a film is so intense that in those 1.5 2 years I've lost good friends because I don't keep in touch. I don't go to parties. I'm not coming for a drink, or I'm canceling on something, because my priority when I'm shooting a film is only the film. So much so that even my parents get pissed off at me that for months together I don't come home. So because it's so intense, once it's fully done, once my responsibilities as an actor, writer, creator are fully done, I like to completely disengage from that and then do the other parts of my life. And then I call people and I say sorry, say, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't come for the party. I had a film. Now it's done. Now can we meet up? Now can we go somewhere?
There's a story somewhere there.
There are so many stories. What is
There's
the
a
story?
story of an actor.
Hmm.
Let's call him Naveen.
Okay.
And so he's so wrapped up in his own life that he kind of does not engage with the other
And
people.
his girlfriend breaks up with him.
And everything happens, and his friend goes away, and then something, and then that's the interval point. And
That's
then
the interval point.
Post-interval.
The post-interval, the movie also doesn't work. And then he slips into depression.
Depression.
And
Yeah.
he's like, was it even worth it?
Yeah.
Some guy comes and gives a review in 2 minutes saying,
Yeah.
kya bakwas film thi?
Yeah.
And the girlfriend is gone now. The parents are not picking up your phone. It's a disastrous, depressing story. So no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is what it is. It's this is a profession, I believe, which is
No, and I I was just making a bad joke, but I think what you're saying is absolutely true, because a lot of us, when you choose a profession that that is not like a normal profession,
correct.
you have to kind of be prepared for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I was in Hyderabad yesterday. I had to fly back to Chennai this morning.
Yeah.
And now I'm back in Hyderabad.
Right.
Then tomorrow I'm in Mumbai.
Right.
And this is not a very usual kind of a thing.
It's not. I'm
Yeah,
sure your
yeah.
family would be pissed.
So the thing is, but these are things that you have to say. It's I like the job that I'm doing, and
Right.
therefore this is all things that
Right.
you're
Is
Uh,
meeting Naveen even worth it? It's like if you have
meeting Naveen is totally worth it. It was on my to-do list. It's my bucket list. I'll show you my bucket list.
That's my promo.
Yeah.
We got the promo for the
Yeah,
for the interview.
my bucket list has meeting Naveen is number 1. Meeting Al Pacino is number 2.
Thank you so much.
Yes, meeting.
All right.
So meeting Martin Scorsese is number 3. So
I am so excited to see you because the last time I saw you was in a Zoom call.
yeah, this is like horrible.
So I didn't even know if you were real.
Yeah,
And I was like,
that
this
was
time,
my AI.
that could be a
that was
AI.
my AI avatar.
This was during the pandemic, if you
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
So I'm happy to see you finally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You want to like get up and hug or
Yeah,
something?
because they put our chairs so far
yeah,
apart.
that's fine.
We literally, I don't know if you guys can see
the
this.
affection is there. That's fine.
This is like a 7 feet distance between me and Brad. And yesterday he interviewed our heroine. And what was the distance? 4 feet?
Hey, I had no hand in setting up the table
Come
or whatever
on.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
But let's do a virtual hug.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Are we singing a song? You should sing a song.
Bhimavaram Balama. Badi toti podama.
No, but sing the song. Just for like plug it.
Our song, that's our film song.
Yeah, I know, but just sing the actual song.
Bhimavaram Balama. Baga beach podama. Mida falma. Viral out the reelma. Please go check it out. It's Bhimavaram Balma from Anaganaga Oka Raju.
Yeah. See, part of this interview is also plugging your stuff, right? So,
When I'm talking to you, I forget about promotions. Daddy makes me forget that I'm promoting a film.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So, do you always like floral shirts?
No, this is something. Okay, I'll tell you the story. Just before coming to this interview, I was in the edit. We were just in our post-production activities, and as I'm stepping out, I was in my black T-shirt, which is what I wear throughout the year. And as I'm stepping out, my costume stylist from the film saw me, and she's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm having an interview with Baradwaj Rangan." She's like, "With who?" I said, "With Baradwaj Rangan." "And you're wearing what?" The black T-shirt. "Do you even know how many people watch his interviews? Do you even know who he is? Please change." And she immediately went inside. I think she brought it from her store. She has a store nearby. She brought it, she shoved this on me and sent me. So that's the story behind the floral shirt.
And you're sitting opposite somebody who's wearing a black T-shirt.
We could have been twinning.
Yes, yes.
Because of you, Mona Gumadi, that's my stylist name. You made me miss some hashtag twinning selfie with Baddie.
So, but coming back to the movie,
Hmm.
what's the USP here?
There are so many good things about this. I mean, it sounds pompous to say because it's your own film, so I shouldn't be saying it. Ideally, if someone saw the film and then said it, I would have preferred it. But there are so many good things that have come together in Anaganaga Oka Raju. Because after Miss Shetty, I was looking for a story which is very different from what I had done before. Jatiratnalu was like a madcap, no-brainer. Agent was like a detective. This was like an urban. Miss Shetty was, my aim was I wanted to do something just for the multiplex audience. I wanted to do a nice urban kind of mature rom-com. And then I was like, what next? What are we going to do next? How can I surprise them?
Is that something you want to do in all your movies? Like, give them an
A character.
experience that they do not expect from.
Yeah,
Because let me because part of being a star is a bit of repetition is involved there because they go to a star movie because the star is going to give them certain things.
yeah,
You're saying I want to be a star,
yeah.
but who also does not have maybe a signature.
Yeah. No, my goal is this: when they take a screenshot of a movie of mine from any scene, the audience should be able to tell which character that is.
Nice.
That's my goal. So if you see a shot from Agent, they should quickly be like, "Hey, that's Agent Sai." Or if they saw something from Jogipet Srikant, or from me holding a, so that's what I try to do. And with this film also, that was my endeavor of finding a character where I can engage them, finding a story that can entertain them, and also tell something that hasn't been said in my films previously, or also in the industry on the whole. Because even when I find subjects which I listen to a story and I feel like, hey, this has already been told in this film, or this kind of a film and has already been made the last year, or then I generally don't do subjects. I don't pick. I try to pick up a story where I feel like, hey, that's something that hasn't been made in a while, or that's something where, oh, I like what we are trying to do with this film or with this story. So that's definitely on my agenda. And with Anaganaga Oka Raju, it was an idea that was brewing in my head, but we wanted to write a story around it. But with Miss Shetty and the massive promotional campaign after that, and then I had a major accident after that. So I couldn't really focus on building it. And once the doctor told me that, hey, you're out of action for 8 to 9 months, that's when I was like, okay, I have time now. I mean, I'm just sitting and just can't move, can't do anything. So it's really a dark place. The one thing accident taught me was, once you lose your basic mobility, you realize, oh, I took all of this for granted. I took brushing my teeth for granted, that it's something that I can just do every day. I took getting out of my bed for granted, and all of that was taken away from me. And I was like, oh my God, even the basics count. So that downtime is when I started writing Anaganaga Raju.
There's a dark strain to this movie?
No.
Okay.
So I wrote the most positive, happy,
right. So it was the
joyful
opposite.
film
Okay.
in the most toughest period of my life.
Okay. I thought you were mentioning that because
No.
something of that experience bled into the movie.
No.
No.
The downtime really helped me focus better, because it helped me go deeper into myself as a person and what's important in life. It really taught me a lot of things. And through that experience, I kind of pushed myself and I said, you know what? And the audience kept writing messages, that, hey, we miss you on the screen. We need you back there. So all of that love comes out of, it's unconditional love. They don't really know me personally, but they're wishing well for me. They're sending me messages. They're like, hey, have you what's your next film? We can't wait. Please come back. So I would rather have an audience member say to me, please come back, than say, hey, और कितना करोगे यार? So all of that pushed me during that period, and I was like, I have to deliver something really good, you know. So we started writing Anaganaga Oka Raju, and it's a fabulous, fabulous idea. We got excited with it. It's set in a fictional town in Andhra. It's about this. The character is a flashy character, Raju, and it's the kind of, you know, there are some films where the moment a character steps on the screen, you start enjoying their presence or comedy. It's that kind of a character, and I wanted to play that character or that zone. It's something that was missing in my filmography. So, and then it's set against a wedding backdrop. It deals with emotions that young people go through on a day-to-day basis, like getting married. Who do I get married to? What are my criteria? What should I, as a guy, or what should a girl be looking for in getting married while making the decision? And what happens after that? All of these are topics that are so easily relatable for us. And Anaganaga Oka Raju, through this guy's journey, we found a story which we thought, oh, this is something we have to tell today's generation. This is something that we have to kind of make this film about. Even if it takes a year to write it, let's write it. So we started writing it, and it took almost a year to get to the bound script. I have this habit of not shooting unless the last page of the bound script has been written. Generally, my process is, once the bound script is done, we go through a couple of drafts of it, and we know what we are making. Then we start the prep. So we did all that for this film, and once we started shooting the first schedule, that's when we knew, okay, I think we have something here. Because we started seeing the reactions of people. We are like, because when you're writing, you get excited, but you're not very sure whether, are they really going to laugh? Are they really going to like it? We don't know when you're creating something. And then the laughs in the sets, when you're doing a take of the cameraman shaking, these are things you look for. The cameraman is shaking, and then people in the light department and everybody, they're chattering. And then after pack up, someone will come and say, what a scene. That's when you know, okay, it's worth all of that writing time. It's worth all of that prep time. And all of that started coming together in Raju, and all the actors, the performances, everything started falling in place. And when we finally saw the cut the other day, everyone was like very, very happy. When you're doing a screening of your film, it's a nervous time.
Yeah.
At the end of the screening, if you see happy faces and people who are hugging, and generally if people don't have anything to say, and then they're like, that's a relief, you know. So that happened. So that's why we are all very excited with Anaganaga Oka Raju. That's why I feel it's a special film for all of us, where it's coming for Sankranti. While writing itself, we were feeling like, I think this is because the film has so much energy, festive vibes, it has so much joy in it. It's like I would say, at the risk of sounding like, I'm not trying to draw a comparison, but it's kind of like a Telugu Rajkumar Hirani kind of film.
Okay.
It's got those sweet, like when I see Raju sir's films, whether it's Munna Bhai, or I constantly have a smile on my face. That's what we wanted to do with this film, you know.
Right. Nice.
So that's the zone we wanted to give with this film. And so while the screening was going on, I don't even look at the screen. I just look at people's faces. I'm like, where are they? How are they? Is this moving them? Is this scene? What's happening here? And when I saw that constant smile plastered on their face, that's when I was like, okay, I think we have something. So that's the USP of Raju. I think that's why Anaganaga Raju is a film that I feel everybody will enjoy with their family, friends, and it's a film that can connect to anyone across any age group. You know?
Nice.
We wanted to I always try to make a film where even children can watch, even kids can watch. So this is one of those films, I feel.
So you mentioned that during that little bit of a dark phase that you had, you said, okay, so this is what's important in life.
Yeah.
What's that?
That phase taught me that you can plan, because I was going through a phase right after Miss Shetty. I was with so much energy in me, because all 4 films that I had done were blockbusters. So This
So we're
coming
talking
from
about Agent, we're talking
Agent,
about
and even in Hindi, I
Jatiratnalu,
was part of
Chichore.
Chichore. They're all big hits.
Yeah.
So I was very, very excited that, you know what, I'm going to give them, because when the films are doing so well, you have that energy and that momentum. You're like, and then suddenly this thing happened, and suddenly like no shoot, nothing, and you can't move, you can't. So then now suddenly you have everything in perspective. It's like you can plan or think of a number of things. Life doesn't always pan out like that, you know. And so what if the card that you wanted, you didn't get dealt that card? Now what? That was that phase for me, where
Right.
it was, because there's what happens is, even from within the industry, when you have constant hits, there's constantly people saying, hey, why aren't you coming to set yet? So it's that constant pressure of getting back to set that tends to get you. That my first 1-2 months was that. My family really helped me. Today you met some of my team members. They really helped me during that period, saying, hey, it's okay, focus on the recovery. Because my first 2 months was, no, I have to go to physiotherapy. I'm going to I have to dance in Raju, because in Anaganaga Raju, I really wanted to dance this time. And I used to call my physio and I was like, can I dance? Will I be able to dance? Like, because my back is hurting so much. Because I want to dance. I want to do, there's action sequences in the film. Can I even do action with this hand, with this? So all of that was going through my mind for the first 2 months. And then I was like, you know what? I'm really not putting things in perspective here. I need to accept what has happened, and I need to focus on my recovery, and then take it one step at a time and do whatever needs to be done to bring the best film possible.
Yeah.
And even if it takes time, it takes time. It is what it is. Once I had that acceptance, then I realized, okay, when things are down, who are the people that help you? You know, who are the people that push you through these phases? And what really matters in life? You know, is it the box office success? Is it dealing with life one day at a time? There's so many questions that kind of went through my mind. And how do you pull yourself through such phases? That is the biggest learning I got during that phase.
Okay.
Where what if something really unexpected happens? Now what?
Now
Now
what?
how do you bounce back? And how do you still bring a film that the audience wants? So all of this took a lot of learning, and I'm really, I wouldn't say I'm happy that the accident has happened, but I'm really thankful for all the lessons.
Where do you see yourself fitting in the sense that some stars, actors, they go after a particular kind of mass stardom. They want to make big movies. They want, which means that there's going to be big set pieces, fights, maybe songs, fantasy sequences, etc. There are other actors who choose different paths. You know, they say, you know, like they choose muted parts or whatever it is. Where do you see yourself? I'm not saying that you have to pigeonhole yourself or say this is the only thing, but how do you see yourself doing different movies and yet giving that Naveen Polishetty stamp?
So I don't necessarily think about stardom that much.
Do you think you're a
because
star?
I don't, like I said, I don't even think about that aspect of my
No,
life.
but do you think you're a star?
That's for the audience to decide.
That's a very cute answer, but tell me the real
No,
thing.
I
Do you
don't-
think you're a star?
Like I said, I don't.
Do you think you're a star?
This is my answer.
Okay.
My answer to that is whether a person is a star is decided by the audience. And so hear me out. I don't want to do the audience's job.
So you're part of the audience.
No, like I said,
Uh,
if I saw a Naveen Polishetty film, if I was not Naveen Polishetty, and if I saw a Naveen Polishetty film playing a trailer or anything, I would immediately go and buy a ticket, because I like the films that I've been a part of so far. When it comes to stardom, I don't think about stardom, because that is something that it's not in your control, first thing. Second thing, it's not my job to think about. My job is to act really well. My job is to write as best as I can, is to pick films that can really engage and entertain the audience. And my job is to deliver maximum entertainment possible within my capabilities. After that, whatever happens as a byproduct of that, which is money, which is fame, which is stardom, it's all coming from the other side. It's not, I don't think
Okay,
about
so
the
let
other
me
side.
rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Has it come from the other side?
Yes, so far I've been very, very
So
good.
you're a star.
Thank you so much. Thank
Okay.
you. If Baradwaj Rangan thinks I'm a star,
So,
thank you so much.
yeah, so, okay.
So far, I'm very grateful and thankful to the audience that they turn up for my films. Because for me, that's the most important thing. That once they buy that ticket to turn up for my films, I'm very, very grateful. It's because I've said this in some event the other day. It's not black money that they spend. It's hard-earned money.
Yeah.
It's very easy to spend black money, or it's very easy to spend corrupt money, but it's very hard to spend hard-earned money. So when they spend that money on my films, I have nothing but gratitude, and I feel a sense of responsibility that I have to deliver something that is worth their salary, because it's a part of their salary what they're spending at the movies, which is why I stuck through the writing process of Raju. Even a lot of people said, "Hey, why don't you do 2-3 films a year?" I would love to. If there are 2-3 fantastic scripts on my table, I'm ready to do 72-hour shifts and shoot all 3 films parallelly. I'm ready to do that. But only if all 3 films, all the scripts are really good. Because at the end of the day, we are kind of responsible and accountable to the audience because they're putting their money on us. So I try to justify that, and I try to deliver value for what they're spending. So answering the question of stardom, thank you so much to every person who has bought tickets for my films and seen my films and continue to trust me, and I will continue to do more than my capabilities to justify their faith and trust and their money.
No, so you are building for yourself a very specific, I don't know if I want to use the word image, but a very specific, you're trying to carve out for yourself a specific position in the industry where you're like, okay, you think I'm a star, you don't think I'm a star, whatever it is, but you should think that every time I bring out a movie, it's going to be something that's worth your time.
Yes, that's more important to me than a tag.
Yeah.
For me, it's the audience trust that is most important.
There's a tag for you in the film, by the way.
What is it?
It's like I forgot what it is.
My
but
director put it, yes.
What is it?
Star entertainer.
Star entertainer.
Yeah, so very, very sweet boy, my director, Mari. Out of admiration, he said, I have to put it. It's something that the media used to write. So, like I said, these are things that, but for me, the most important tag is the audience trust. Whenever they see a trailer of my film somewhere, they should feel like, hey, I want to go watch his film.
Yeah.
That's what is the most important thing for me. Talking about genres or where I want to position myself, I'm a big fan of every genre. Like, my goal is to make the best possible film in that genre.
Right.
So if I'm picking up a detective film, I try to pick a film which is the best written film in that genre, in that industry, in that year. Now, this is an effort. It's not as easy as I'm making it. To find that best written script in that genre is a Herculean task.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it is very, very hard. So if I'm doing a horror fantasy, I would love to do a horror fantasy. But I would want to do a film where that horror fantasy, that's the best film of that year in that genre. If I'm doing a gangster film, like, let's say, I really used to enjoy, I really enjoyed Gangs of Wasseypur, for example. I would love to do a film like that, you know, very rooted, very, very real. I was transported to that world. So if I get a script like that, I would love to do that genre. There are films like Mr. India. My favorite film, I've said this so many times. It's literally Mr. India and Lagan. These are literally 2 films where I decided I want to be in films. Mr. India, Lagan. There's so many Telugu films as well. Chiranjeevi Garu has a film called Jagadegi Virudat Lokasundari.
Yeah.
It had a huge impact on me. I was like, this is magical. Whatever these people are doing on the screen, it's magical. And I want to be a part of this magic. Whether it's as a writer, whether it's as an actor, whether it's whatever form, I will learn editing or do something, but I want to do this magic. This is magic. I am going into the theater as a normal person. I am watching Lagan and I'm coming out like I just won the cricket match against this entire oppression of 150 years. Why am I feeling all these things? Why am I feeling like no matter how hard my life is, I can really face any difficulty. I can really, if I don't give up hope and I can fight, I can really triumph in this, in my life. That's what Lagan made me feel like. So I felt this is magical. This is cinema and I want to be a part of this.
See, that's why I feel that I don't think it's unconditional love that the audience gives you. It's conditional love.
Okay.
Because when I like a star, I go to that star because that star gives me happiness, joy, entertainment. Maybe their journey gives me hope. Maybe whatever it is. So I'm not saying conditional in a selfish way.
Right.
But there are certain reasons we attach ourselves to certain stars.
Yes.
And we embrace them.
Yes.
Like as if they're a part of the family.
Yes.
Or like a friend or whatever
Yes.
it is, simply because of what they do resonates with us.
Absolutely.
So there is a bit of conditionality there.
I mean, I don't know if it's conditionality, but cinema has that power.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful profession that it can educate, it can entertain, it can engage, and sometimes if you're lucky, you'll get a script that does all three.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're not lucky, you'll probably get a film that can educate and engage to an extent, but won't work at the box office. So it's definitely something that drew me to this profession. That this is, out of all the professions that I was considering, I was like, this profession, especially in our country, the role of cinema in our country is very different from the role of cinema in other countries. You know, I feel as filmmakers or being part of films, we are like shrinks. Film people are like shrinks, are like therapists, like the audience that's coming in to the darkness of a cinema hall. We don't know what their day is like. Somebody could have just bought a ticket because he's just sick and tired of the EMIs in his life. Somebody could have just bought a ticket because he's like going through the worst breakup of his life. Somebody could have just been diagnosed with the worst possible health condition. We don't know what's going on. And then suddenly they are like, how do I get out of this slump? Okay, let me just go buy a ticket. And you and me, when we are talking, we are all educated in English speaking schools. So our perspective of the world is not really the actual world out there. There are people who have never been to a school. There are people who, for them, daily survival is a struggle.
Yeah.
For them, what is the motivation for them to come to cinemas? Do you really think they're coming to learn something? It could just be that they're having a tough time in their day and they just want to unwind and they just want to find something that just distracts them from the hard reality of their day. That's what cinema in India is. That's what I kind of understood watching films. That's what I kind of try to make, where I try to make films that I believe in, but I also try to see if, hey, is this going to kind of make that person forget about his day? You know, is this going to make him be like, theek hai, life is not that bad, right?
So, do you always see your films as having some kind of comedy, jokes, entertainment value, that kind of a thing?
Not always. Like I
No.
said, for example, Gangs of Wasseypur has no, I mean, it has humor in the
It
scenes.
has quirky kind of
humor,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's coming from the organic situations.
Yeah.
So, no, I actually love every possible genre. Humor is something that I really love, not just in films. If you talk to me even outside of films, in a 10-minute conversation, mostly we will be talking funny things. It's a part of my personality. Humor is something that I have highest amount of respect for in all of the traits that a human being has. a sense of humor is the biggest superpower. Because life is not fair. Let me tell you, life is hard, and it's supposed to be. The algorithm of life is like that.
Yeah.
Life is never amazing 365 days of a year for anybody, even the richest man in the world. So when we have a tough algorithm, if you don't have a sense of humor, you have a tough ride here. So I feel I try to pick films where that undercurrent of humor is seen in some way or the other. Even in Agent, that's something that we
Yeah.
tried to capture. Even
Yeah.
though he's a serious detective, we wanted to just have that little humor there. Having said that, if you ask me, are you never going to say yes to a film that doesn't have a line of humor in it? I would say no. I would love to. Like I said, I would love to do films which I saw this film recently, not recently. Uh, mm, have you seen Virupaksha?
Yeah.
I loved Virupaksha. It doesn't really have humor in it, but I love the film. Then, so there was another film that I forget now. I watched recently. Uh, Tourist Family had humor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, a film that I really loved. Action films. Action films like the first part of John Wick, for example.
Oh.
Because I'm a dog lover. Was it the first part, the dog part? Yeah. It's one of my favorite films. Like every scene, I was like, just kill that person right now. Because I was watching it with my dog, and I was like, John Wick, if I'm with you. Just chop him right now. So I love films like that where there is action, but there's like a strong, like Lokesh Anna's film, Khaidi. I would love to do a film like that, where it was such a beautiful emotion, and then all of the action is justified. So I love films which are not necessarily in the humor space. But the thing with films which don't really have a current of humor in them, your writing has to be very good in that genre. Like
everything.
With everything, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
In comedy films, sometimes if a scene doesn't really have great writing, but if you're still able to deliver the laughs, the audience will sit with you for a few scenes. You still have to give them a good story. You don't necessarily have that advantage in other genres.
And it's also comedy, I feel. I mean, art, the perception of art is itself a little subjective.
Yes.
But with comedy, I feel it's more so because what tickles me may not tickle you. It's actually, it's almost like, for instance, when Anudeep made Prince in Tamil, I really liked the movie. But apparently a majority of the people didn't, and
Right.
the movie didn't really work.
Right.
But I just loved that there was a lovely strain of humor in that movie,
Yes.
which was a little fresh for me,
Yes.
and I
So
like that. Yeah. So
comedy is-
you can't really, yeah.
comedy is very subjective
Yeah.
of all the things, and that's why when you're making a scene or when you're shooting a scene which has comedy in
Yeah.
it, you're always nervous.
Yeah.
Because you're laughing, the set members are laughing. Will the general audience also laugh? That's something where unless you do a trial screening, you don't necessarily know. I mean, you get a sense.
It's a bit nerve-wracking, right?
It is nerve-wracking. It's like stand-up also, right? For example, for Miss Shetty, all the stand-up scenes in the film, we shot it with a live audience. It's not like nobody was planted there and said, "Ki, now sit and laugh." It was a live audience. So while I was going to shoot that scene, I'd written the stand-up, and now I was like, what if they don't laugh? My director and everybody was like, let's just put like audience, junior artists and make them laugh. I was like, no. Because if you put a junior artist and you make them laugh, you won't know whether this joke that is inside the film is actually funny or not.
Yeah.
The only way to find out is to actually do the set. And once they started laughing in the first take, that's when I was like, thank God. Imagine that day, the whole crew is there. We built the whole set. There's the production expense has already been. And now if they don't laugh, what are we going to do? I was like so nervous. So it is like that with comedy. With any form of comedy, you never know. But you can't really think, oh, I'm only going to write this joke if they find it funny. You can't reverse engineer this. You just have to go with your gut. If you find something funny, you believe in that, you perform. Like for example, Jatiratnalu court scene. A lot of people told me and Anudeep, whoa, this court scene, like, will people believe it that he's talking about this in a courtroom? Uh, and me and Anudeep never had that question in our heads until somebody pointed it out after the shoot. And then both of us looked at it and we were like, we already shot it now. There's nothing we can do. So I was very nervous till the first show of that film because it's the big climax. Imagine like building up to that point, and if nobody laughed in that scene. And the whole theater was like shaking. I was like, we expected people to laugh, but the theater was literally shaking. So with comedy, you just have to go with your conviction and your gut. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. There are so many scenes where you think, oh, this is definitely going to get a laugh. Like, wait, and no one will laugh. And there are some scenes where like we're just sitting and suddenly there's a huge sound of laughter and you look at each other and you're like, why are they laughing for this? So no matter how many calculations you have, the audience will always surprise you. They will always give you a reaction which you were not expecting.
You mentioned that you want to do a Vasyapur,
Yes.
you want to do something like Lokesh's Kaidi, but is it image also something that's tied to that? What I'm trying to say is, which is not to say that you cannot play it. What I'm trying to say is that how does one become that kind of chameleon where you're able to do everything, as opposed to Naveen's a guy with a great sense of humor, and I go to his films and I'm going to laugh and have a great time.
Right.
And then suddenly you're like chasing some villains with an axe or something like that.
Right.
You know, like,
Right.
how
Well,
do you?
I'll use a small axe first at the
Okay.
beginning, so they believe me. And then once a couple of films they believe, then the axe size.
That's a
will get-
long axe journey.
That's a long axe journey.
Yeah.
So you slowly increase the size of the axe.
Yeah.
No, on a serious note, like I said earlier, if you take a screenshot of my film, you should be able to tell which character that is.
Yeah.
So I've never really had that image
Yeah.
that this is the only character or this. And that's something that even in my YouTube days, if you've seen any of my YouTube videos, I used to go to my team of writers, whether it was Tanmay, and I always used to like picking characters that are odd, because I have to push myself, so my aim, even in my theater days, my theater teacher used to tell me, never pick a same play again. If you're doing a play, let's say I'm a bartender in today's play, the next immediate play I would pick a blind man, because unless you do that, you're not really pushing your skill set.
Yeah.
Which is why I've always tried to do that, even though the larger, broader spectrum, it looks like all are entertainment films, but each character is different from the other, and you kind of try to bring those nuances. You try to give them at least 3 different things in every character, which they have not seen in the previous character. And once you kind of work hard for the role, and you prep hard, and you play the character with all honesty, people will believe you. If your performance has honesty, and if it's true to the emotion of the story, then they will, as long as you play the character, they will believe you in whatever genre that you act in. You could play a blind man, people will believe you. You could play a convict, people will believe you. You just have to kind of course, image is definitely talked about a lot, but I've never built an image, and I don't intend to either.
No, I see. The image is a very strange thing because
Yeah.
The thing is, some of us watch movies to be surprised.
Right.
Like, for example, for me, one of the greatest examples is Once Upon a Time in the West, when Henry Fonda, who's this absolute American gentleman, Sergio Leone uses him as a killer. And the transformation is stunning because you don't expect that guy to be a killer, or that kind of a thing. Right? So, or watching Amitabh Bachchan in Nishabd, which is RGV's film, right?
Right.
And watching him getting attracted sexually to a girl who's young enough to be his granddaughter or whatever. And these are not roles that you expect these actors to be in.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, so the
yeah.
thing is, what I feel happens is that those people who enjoy cinema,
Right,
they are open for everything.
right.
But then many people they go by the actors.
Right.
I know that this actor, if I go to his film or her film, I will get a family-friendly good time,
Right.
or something like that.
Right.
So if that trust is broken, I think they feel a little betrayed, and it could go against you. That's what I was getting to.
Well, I mean, honestly speaking, I've never really thought of it from that angle.
But you know where I'm coming
Yeah,
from.
yeah, I know what you're saying.
yeah.
I know what you're saying. For example, in Mishetty,
Yeah.
towards the last 30 minutes, it's a very emotional film.
Yeah.
And a lot of the reviews and the audience feedback that I got was, everybody was like, oh my God. Like, after Jati Ratnalu, we didn't think Naveen would do a film which has such an emotional depth in the last 30 minutes. And so that's something that I intentionally work towards. That's one of the reasons for me to pick that story to begin with. Likewise in Raju, for example, this is the first time I'm singing in a film. This is the first time I'm dancing in a commercial format with set songs. This is the first time I've been given a big set song. This is the first time I'm having a Sankranti festival release. I've only grown up watching my heroes on screen for Pongal releases. So to have my own Pongal release is like a big deal for me. It's like such a exciting thing, and this film has action blocks as well. I don't remember if we used an axe or not, but so this is also the first time I'm trying that block as well, that space as well. So with every film, you kind of try to find 3 or 4 new things that push yourself into a zone, and then from there you see how it goes, and then you build on. It also depends on the story. Like imagine if I'm doing a Wasepur kind of film, and then suddenly I put a set song, it won't work. So a lot of times, what are the elements that you're playing in the film is also dictated by the story. So I always believe one has to be true to the story first. If the story has scope for something like that, really rooted, realistic, gritty drama, let's say, I can't really suddenly have like build-up shots and slow-mo and guns flying. It has to be very real, you know. So I feel the genre and the world of the story dictate what can and can't be done. And I'm someone that is a huge film buff. So I like to watch a lot of genres, and I like to even perform and act in a lot of genres. But again, having said that, I just have to find the right script for that genre.
We'll go with this example of everything needing a good script and conviction.
Yes.
Do you think you could play something like a Bahubali?
I mean, if you build the physique for it, there are some roles where in order to be convincing in that character, not just you can be a great actor, but you also have to transform yourself physically. So there are some roles where you have to physically transform to play that part. So if I get the role of a warrior or a boxer, it's my job as an actor to look the part first. Because if you don't look the part, the audience is not going to believe you. So for my take on that would be, whenever, for example, Game of Thrones is one of my favorite series, and I would love to do like a king's politics kind of story.
Right.
So, and there's a lot of warriors in that show. If you see the guy who played Jon Snow, he's not built like a 7-foot monster. He's like an everyday looking fit person. But were you convinced that when in the Battle of Bastard scene, you were convinced, right, that he's going to literally fight all of them? That's it. It's in the writing. It's in how you prep for the role as an actor. It's in your costumes. It's in the look design. All of it, when it comes together, that magic of cinema happens, where out of all of these lies, one truth comes out in that moment between action to cut. And when that truth translates through the screen to the audience, they will believe you.
So, Naveen, the last time I spoke to you and this time, one thing that's coming across very strongly is the fact that you have this passion. But there are an equal number of actors that don't have that, and they become stars, and for them, the game is money. What they want out of a film is money, and they're not really into the. How do you see that? Like tomorrow, if you were in a position to command a big deal of money. Would that mean a lot to you?
The way I see money is like this. First of all, my mom almost every other day scolds me that after 3-4 hits, why aren't you doing 3 films a year? You should be signing films, making money, because that's what society trains you to believe. It's like, hey, because this is an unpredictable profession, right? So everybody looks at it saying, who knows how long you have in the business? So why don't you quickly make money? That's generally the perception, or generally the things that you hear in this business. The way I look at it is, the reason why I came into this profession, like I said, is the magic of storytelling, the magic of acting, the magic of transporting audiences through your stories. Money is something that is very, very important in life, but it can be made in a corporate job as well. Money is something that, I'm an engineer. I really had a very, very good job in life, and I was getting a very good salary. I was ticking all the boxes. I was living in London, which is one of the best cities in the world. So, and I was still not content or satisfied or happy. So, even if you tick all the boxes, if you're still unhappy, then there's something wrong in the algorithm. So, I decided very early on that this is a profession that I'm going to come into to give it everything to the audience, to try and give the best possible films to them, and not really think about how much money I'm going to make. Because if I want to think about how much money I want to make, there is a bank job there waiting. There is an IT job there waiting. I can get into an engineering job. All of these jobs also will pay me money. So definitely money is not the number one reason for me when I make a film. Does that mean that my producers should not pay me? No. I
Oh, I thought that's what you were going
it is,
towards. I thought it was like,
it's,
give me a good script, I'll do it for no money. I thought,
in fact, that's a secret that I don't share with people.
okay,
That if I get a script where it's mind blowing, I will even do it for free.
okay,
But I don't tell it on camera because I won't get paid then.
nice.
But I've just said it on camera. But cut this part out from the interview.
Are you serious?
No, I'm
Yeah.
not. You can air it. I would say, the money, it's like what Steve Jobs used to say. If you read it, once you build a product, once you chase quality, the money is a byproduct. So even if I am in a phase where I do films that I believe in, I can still get the same amount of money that I would get if I was doing 2-3 films a year.
Yeah.
It's because of the quality of the films that you deliver. So the market always rewards quality than quantity. So money is something that luckily has come to me, even though I have not chased it as the number one thing. It has come to me as a byproduct of me chasing content, of me chasing quality in films. That's when you chase that, I feel the audience takes care of the money part.
No, that is the way it should be.
Yeah.
But we're also seeing an ecosystem, at least in the bigger industries, that everyone's out to setting up projects rather than films, and projects geared towards making X amount of money. The first day makes so much, the second day makes so much. Overall, this has beaten that, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
There seems to be a race towards
Right.
making a lot of money.
Right.
And many of these films, again, this is my opinion, but I don't think many of these films are going to be remembered even 2 years down the line. What are your thoughts on that? And you don't have to name any, but the general, yeah.
100%. Right now, if you see any posters and stuff, the first thing you will see a box office number. The way I look at it is like this. Imagine you went into a biryani restaurant. Let's say you went into Bawarchi and you came out and you had a great biryani. What would you tell someone who asked you?
I don't like biryani.
What is your favorite dish?
I don't want to name it.
Okay.
I'll be shamed.
Huh?
I'll be shamed.
Why? What is it? This is our promo, buddy. What is the dish? Tell me.
Guess.
What is it? Is it what could it be?
It's a very boring thing.
What is it? Tell me.
It's paneer tikka.
Okay, it was not worth the hype that I built the promo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's say you went to a nice Mughlai restaurant or a nice restaurant that serves the best paneer or whatever, and you came out and somebody asked you how was the food there, the first thing you would talk about is, man, this chef, he made the best paneer tikka I've eaten in my life. You're not going to come out and say, do you know the day one collections of this paneer tikka chef? Do you know how much this restaurant makes every day? Do you ever talk saying, do you know the day one of, let's say, Bawarchi is a famous restaurant. Do you know the day one of Bawarchi compared to the day one of Green Bawarchi, or let's say there's another restaurant called Mehfil or a story? Do you ever do that? No, no one does that.
No.
You only discuss the taste of the food. So for me, the way I look at cinema is like that. I go to a movie and I come out and I only discuss how the taste of that film made me feel. I felt great watching that film. Oh my God, this scene is amazing. This character was amazing. Oh, this interval thing was. That's about it. After that, how much money that film makes or what happens there, it's not my concern as an audience member. My that is the headache of the investor, the exhibitor, the distributor, and the producer. These are the four. If the actor has a cut, then the actor. These are the 4 5 stakeholders who should be really concerned about that.
Right.
And it's well within their rights to market the box office because that creates hype around their product. So they're absolutely allowed to do that.
So just to cut you off there,
Yeah.
so is the logic this? So are people going to say, oh, this is the box office, that means a lot of people have seen it, so I should also see it. Is that why?
I mean, could be that it helps in creating hype around the product. But I don't come from that school of thought. For me, I believe that the hype for any film comes from the word of mouth of a film. And the word of mouth is like in our biryani example, it's like the taste. If you deliver the best taste, then automatically you will sell the highest number of biryani packets. Like a true Hyderabadi, I'm giving only biryani examples. So, like I'm constantly saying in every answer
I
of
get
my,
shamed every time I come to Hyderabad because people want to take me out for dinner or
Yeah, and
lunch,
they-
and they're like, where do you want to go? And they're expecting me to name this fantastic biryani place, and I'm like,
yeah,
can I just get a paneer wrap or something? And
we have to find a nice paneer place in Hyderabad for you. Yeah, so we'll do that at the end of this interview.
Yeah.
I'll take you for a nice paneer tikka. So to finish off my example, I only focus on what are the best ingredients I can make and what is the best possible dish I can serve to my audience. And once they like the taste, they take care of the collections part of it. I don't, it's not even in my head to think about that because anyway, that's not the way I came into this profession or that's not the way I got attracted to films. It's the beauty. There's a beauty in this art form. If you reverse engineer it and you come from step 5, which is the collections, then you're missing out on the beauty of the first 4 steps.
so let me take the corporate example.
Mm.
So you're in your London job.
Mm.
Your progress is measured by, let's say you're an engineer, then you become the next level of person, you
Right.
become the next level, you're
Right.
team leader, something,
Right.
and each thing involves extra money
Right.
because that's how you measure success,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So I'm thinking that in this profession,
Sure.
the success of a film is how you measure something.
Right.
So I think money is important in the sense that if Naveen's
Films are
first
doing well.
movie made 10 rupees and the second
Right.
movie makes 20 rupees,
Right.
that means the second movie is twice as successful.
Right.
So I can invest this money on
Sure,
him because
sure.
audience want to see him.
Sure.
So don't you think that way money is important?
It is important. Like I said, that's why I say all the films that I make, it is important that they all make money at the box office.
Okay.
They have to sell tickets, which is why sometimes when I listen to a story, if it's in a genre where I feel right now the audience is not
Not ready.
interested in a genre like this,
You've listened to stories like that?
yes, so many times. I listen to so many narrations a week, and a lot of times I listen to a narration and I'm like, right now, the audience is probably not interested in a genre or a story where there's long pauses, there's long, silent conversations.
Like artful kind
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
thing,
because maybe on digital, yes, I'm talking about the big screen because the big screen is what excites me. I'm a huge fan of the 70 mm. So for the big screen format, there are definitely certain genres or certain stories where the audience likes to watch them on the big screen.
Right.
There are certain things that they like to watch. So that definitely plays on your mind when you're listening to a narration. And luckily for me, the return on investment on all the films that I have done has been very huge. We've shot them at very small budgets, and they've all turned out to be big money spinners. So the return on investment, like if you're putting X amount, if you're getting a 10x profit or a 5x profit or a 3x profit, it's still a very good profit. So that is definitely important. But what I'm trying to say is, you can't tell a story chasing the 5x or chasing the 2x or chasing the 10x.
Got it.
That can never happen. At least that's my opinion. You can only tell a story or make a film that you are extremely excited about, that you love the writing, that you feel, I just want to give the next 1.5 years of my life to this film and this character, and hopefully the audience will like it. When you take care of these basics and you focus on only that part, the 2x money, the 5x money, the 10x, the 20x, all of that, the audience takes care. We don't have to worry. Trust me. Sometimes it may happen that even if you put 2 years of your life into a film, it might still not work at the box office. That's a gamble you have to play in this profession. But 8 out of 10 times, if you're honest with your writing, if you're honest with your filmmaking, if you're honest with your performance, if you're not shortchanging or if you're not taking any shortcuts, you give it everything, the audience will take care of you 8 out of 10 times. In my experience, I'm telling you this. Agent is a film that some distributor saw and said, why did you make a film about dead bodies in Telugu? But the audience took care of me. Jatiratnalu is a film that people said, why did you hold a film for 1 year in the pandemic? You should have just released it on digital. The day the theaters opens, the audience took care of us. Same with the Miss Shetty as well. So the audience is always looking for good storytelling. That has never changed in cinema. In the history of cinema, there is no audience member that will come and say, show me a bad film. Everyone is wanting a good film, but it is very hard to make a good film.
It's very hard to.
It is very, very hard. It is, you and I can sit and discuss in an interview right now because we've had a journey of 2 years on this film. And in these 2 years, can you imagine the amount of ups and downs we would have gone
The
through?
self-doubt.
The self-doubt, whether this scene is working, whether that character is working. The creative process is such a paradoxical process because it gives you the greatest highs and it gives you the greatest lows. And only when you embrace both of them should you be in this profession.
Yeah.
And it is that's the joy of this process. So we all go through that. But that's the joy. That's the money for me. For me, it's like when I listen to a narration and the character is doing some surprising things and he's doing things which are pushing me as an actor, when I'm like, wow, I'm going to play it like this. That's a 1 crore paycheck right there for me. It's like, then if I read a script and I'm like, wow, this is going to kill in theaters. That's a 20 crore. That's the joy of a 20 crore paycheck. After that, how much money film makes, how much paycheck I get, those are also very important factors, but they are not what
Your mom would be very interested.
my mom, those are for my mom. For me, that's not the number one. I've been offered huge amount of money for projects where I did not like a character or I didn't like the story. It could have been even a big production house. But because I didn't connect with the material, or I felt that, hey, I don't think this story can hold in theaters tomorrow. I could have been wrong. I'm just saying that at that moment, if the script doesn't excite me or if I don't connect with it, I've never signed a film for money. I've never ever, even in my struggle days when I was in my YouTube days, when I was with Tanmay and all the boys at AIB, who I have to give a shout out to because they were the first guys that kind of believed in my skill set. They kind of Tanmay, Khamba, Rohan, and Devya, all of my batch at AIB, they all kind of believed in my skill set when I was like just auditioning and I was just like, hey, can I get a role in this video? even in that phase of my life, I told myself, try not to pick anything for money. Try not to pick a role for money as much as possible. And the only way I could do that is by keeping my expenses to a minimum. I told myself, if I buy a flat right now, or if I get married or have kids, I will be pushed into situations where I have to say yes to projects for money, because I have to run the house, I have to buy a car, I have to pay an EMI, I have to live in a fancy place, I have to maintain a lifestyle. All of this will drive you to say yes, for money.
Yeah.
So I cut off all of that from my life. I said, I'm not going to build my life on anything that will push me into a spot where I have to say yes for money.
But you are comfortable now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm saying
At that point.
yeah.
Yeah.
In my struggle days.
Yeah.
In my struggle days.
I mean, you're able to afford flower shirts.
Yeah,
and
look at
things.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, you should have seen my black T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, the money in my struggle days in Bombay, I didn't even imagine that I would be getting this much money in life. All I wanted in that period was just one film opportunity. I was like, I just want one film chance. I just want one big break where I can show my skill to the audience. That's what my goal was at that time. I was not really thinking that there would be a day when I would be making money out of this profession, and there would be a lot of comfort that comes into my lifestyle because of that. Because money can bring you a
Yeah,
lot of comfort.
yeah,
It
yeah.
solves a lot of your stress problems.
Yeah.
It
You know,
doesn't-
I genuinely tell people who see these Instagram quotes about money is not everything. Nobody dies,
Yeah.
thinking I had made more money.
Right.
Dude, but to live, you need money.
You
know,
do.
this is
You
like,
do, absolutely do.
Yeah.
But I think the larger point I'm trying to make here is, money will chase you as long as you build something of value.
Yeah.
That's what I've tried to do in my life. I've always tried to pick projects where, if I'm trying to give something to the audience, they will send the money back. That's what I genuinely believe. If you see the best products, I don't think I've ever seen, in the initial days, I've never seen an Apple advertisement anywhere. But today, like, it's almost every second person has an Apple iPhone, because they focused on quality. So as long as we try to, like how Raju sir said in Three Idiots, you just have to, like, or Mr. MS Dhoni says, you just have to keep killing it at the process. You just keep killing it at the process, and eventually 8 out of times the results will be in your favor, and the money will come, all of the byproducts will come. But if your process is corrupted, if your process has motives which are impure, then the money might even stop. It doesn't necessarily mean that because you made a big combination or you made a big budget film, it doesn't necessarily mean that the film is going to make money. So I've always been a process person. I only believe in doing the basics right and doing it to the best of my ability, and then the byproducts of money, fame, and everything,
Yes.
you accept whatever the audience gives you.
So that's been quite a 360-degree view of how you think, and I hope all of this comes together in your new film. And I look forward to watching it. It's on the 14th.
It's on the 14th, Jan 14th.
Yeah.
Anaganaga Oka Raju is a film that we are supremely excited about. But like I said earlier, it's my first Sankranti film.
It's your first Sankranti film.
Yeah.
You're singing songs. You're dancing.
I've given it everything in this film.
Yeah.
This is a film where
Maybe it's easier to say what you don't do in the film. Maybe that'll be easier. So.
I don't play the heroine in the film.
Okay.
So I've given it. We've all given it everything, actually. We've really believed in this film. We were all very excited. Like I said, from the first, I still remember the first. This film has been such a special film for me, because I still remember I was sitting with my laptop after my accident, and I was just looking at a blank screen. I was on my writing software, and I was just looking at the blank screen, and I just broke down, and I was like, how am I going to write this? Where is the motivation going to come from? Where are the dialogues going to come from? Where is the Where are the scenes going to come from? And it was very, very hard initially because of the accident. And then me, my co-writer Chinmay, and then my director Mari, who joined us after we finished a first draft, he came on board. So me and my team, we all inspired each other, and we went through this journey of writing this film together. And from that empty laptop to this Sankranti screen, you have no idea what the journey has been like. It's been that journey is a film by itself. So we are now very, very happy that we made this film. How the film does, nobody knows. We all, at this point, we are just hopeful that we want a lot of families to come watch it. It's such a joyful film that we just want to see that joy in theaters. You know, we have been through a lot of sleepless nights to deliver this joy. So, and when that joy is on their faces, all of those nights where you feel like, I don't think this, where you feel a writer's block, where you feel, I don't think this joke is working, where you feel like, let's move on to a different script, or you feel like maybe I should do some, all of that, the highs and lows of filmmaking, it's all worth when that darkness in that cinema hall starts, the crowd is there, they buy the ticket, they sit, and the film starts.
And they connect.
And you hear the laughter, you hear the whistles, you hear the energy. This is why I got into films, and this is why I continue to make films. It's for that moment. It's to see that momentum. I don't know, there is some magic that happens between that 70 mm and that audience. There is some connect there. When that magic goes from that screen to that audience, everything is worth it. Every tear is worth it. Every broken bone is worth it. Everything is worth it. So I hope that we've delivered what the audience is expecting. We are all very excited. The initial reactions for the film that we screened, everybody got out laughing. Trivikram Garu saw the film. He gave us all a big hug. So everything, we are all like now nervous, but also excited for Sankranti, that Anaganaga Oka Raju is something that will really spread joy in theaters to the audience. It's a very, very joyful film. So Anaganaga Oka Raju, our producers, Sitara Entertainments, Naga Vamsi, Garu, they all believed in this idea. They gave us the time to write the script, and they gave us, like I said, everyone who heard the narration from the time we narrated the entire screenplay, everybody got excited. So I have to really thank my producers as well for backing this film. So we're coming with all the right ingredients, with all the right people, with all the right energies, and now it's up to the audience to come see what we've done with this film and tell us how they liked it, tell us what they thought about it, and we just want to get this film across to as many families as possible, as many people as possible, because it's a film, when we saw the film the other day, we felt this should be watched by everybody. This is a film that the Gen Z should watch. This is a film that kids should watch. This is a film that elders should watch, parents should. It has a very beautiful human emotion in the film. So we're all very excited to deliver this film. This is, for me, this is the most exciting part of my filmmaking journey, because you get to serve the dish. You get to present what you've been cooking. So yeah, we're very excited.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All the best. Fingers crossed.
Thank you so much,
May
Betty.
you become a bigger star.
Thank you. And I'm going to tell my narration team to look for scripts with an axe in it after this interview. Any writers with an axe in your script, please contact me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
டார்லிங் சோலார் 20,500 முன்பணத்தில் இப்பொழுது சோலார் மூலம் இலவச மின்சாரம்.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Chennai Silks. Let the celebrations begin.
This festive season, travel the world with Grand Royal Tours.